Good evening, I'm Tricia and I'm a member of Residocracy. I'm speaking tonight, though, for Northeast Neighbors, my neighborhood association. For the past 2 years, Northeast Neighbors has been fighting to protect our neighborhood from extreme height and density being advanced through the zoning update process. We thought we had made headway on key issues as we listened to planning commissioners, council members, and the city staff express their support for our reasonable request to remove the proposed zoning for Wilshire Boulevard out of scale, Tier 3 development and 2 massive activity centers, and to reconcile the land grab of almost 200 residential lots, including the now infamous A-lots. But now it turns out that despite broad support, these 3 zoning proposals and loose amendments have been taken off the table, and their further discussion has been indefinitely postponed. I'll explain. A couple of weeks ago, this Planning Commission voted to advance proposed zoning changes in a document called the Resolution of Intention, which allows the Commission to officially notice them and make recommendations on them to Council. We were distressed by the fact that our major concerns about Wilshire were not on that document, that this Commission voted 4-3 with the majority opposed, and that they have basically been dropped from discussion. While developer-generated loose amendments were advanced that night, the concerns for residents in our neighborhood were not. It's possible, we were told, that these concerns could be pursued later, and we have worked very long and hard, too long and hard, to articulate the need for these changes, and they should be discussed and approved for consideration by City Council. We request that this Planning Commission deliver on assurances that they have given to Northeast Neighbors and either amend the Resolution of Intention to include these 3 issues or write a new Resolution of Intention to include the following loose amendments that were recommended by the community and supported by the planning staff. And I have spoken tonight with your attorney who says that this is possible. Both of these things are possible for you to do. Tier 3 development should be removed from the zoning and the loose for Wilshire Boulevard. Tier 3 on Wilshire would result in more density than the Hines development, as you've heard already tonight. The plan for massive activity centers on Wilshire should be removed from the zoning and the loose because they would overwhelm the adjacent neighborhoods. 3, residential lots that were changed to commercial in the loose should be changed back to residential. Those are the 3 things we have. 2 years into the process, the red line version of the zoning update should be a moment when residents can look and see clearly what changes are being proposed to the zoning. But what we see instead is anything but clear. The text of the so-called red line public review draft does not include the current zoning that is being updated, but instead contains language of an earlier version of itself, the draft as it looked a year ago. This means we are presented with a revision of a revision. This would be acceptable if we also had a genuine red line that compared the proposed zoning with the current ordinance. There should be a red line generated of the original zoning ordinance to show what is being removed, changed, and added. As it is, the document does not make plain the fact that there are regulations in the current zoning that have been left out and unaddressed. And by the way, it has been left to the residents to figure this out. Tonight is a time to remember that the purpose of the zoning is to implement the loose, and that the loose is, according to the executive summary, quote, a conservation plan that provides for an overall reduction in building height, end quote. Whatever happened to that vision? Instead of a thoughtful plan to deliver the loose vision, what we have witnessed, those of us who have attended commission meetings month after month for 2 years, is the clamoring of developers and their lawyers to maximize their profits. We have witnessed the terrible compliance of our government to give those developers what they want in exchange for community benefits that do not benefit the community.
Excuse me just a minute, Tricia.
I'm almost done.
I'm sorry. Well, just in general, because of the time constraints and other factors as well, I ask that if you do want to clap, let's hold it to the end of the presentation as we're transitioning from one speaker to the other.
I'm almost done, so. And we
I'm
have
sorry
suffered,
for interrupting you,
it's
Tricia.
fine.
Please continue.
And we have suffered the opportunistic politicians who tell us we must support a revised zoning document that increases development, even if our city is already built out. To add insult to injury, new language added to the red line informs us that one of the purposes of the new zoning is to, quote, protect and enhance the city's fiscal health, end quote. I would like to know, we would like to know, who introduced this language. No one, I can never recall this being discussed at a planning commission meeting, and I think we have a right to know where it came from. Zoning regulations should not authorize development in order to generate revenue. The zoning should be written to balance the needs of all and protect the quality of life for those of us who call Santa Monica our home, the residents who are the primary stakeholders. This offensive purpose language should be removed from the draft ZOW. The purpose of zoning should be to enhance the quality of life in Santa Monica, not to enhance the coffers of City Hall.